Welcome back, everyone. This is an intermediate update to help you digest some of the changes that have occurred overnight with respect to the evolving risk associated with Hurricane Ian. Really quickly, you can see the satellite imagery as it's starting to move off the western tip of Cuba, still reflective of a well-defined hurricane, and you can now see an eye visible in the infrared imagery. As it starts to pull off of Cuba, some additional strengthening is possible. So it's really imperative that people start taking this seriously and start heeding evacuation orders. If we look at the latest statistics on Ian, it's now maximum sustained winds 125 miles per hour, which makes it a Category 3 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. And notably, the motion is now moving north now. So it's making the turn that we have been talking about all week. Let's go back to the warnings. The biggest thing this morning to make you aware of is the red area is the hurricane warning. So this is where hurricane conditions are expected somewhere within this warning area. Has been shifted south. It's been shifted south to reflect a little bit of the evolution and the projected path of the storm. So people here in Southwest Florida, you really need to be paying attention. You probably heard your cell phones go off this morning to denote the hurricane warning. You were already under a storm surge warning. That was a pre-existing, so no changes there. But what is changing a little bit is as the track comes in a little bit more to the south, the surge risk has increased in and around Charlotte Harbor. So I really want these people to pay attention this morning if you're listening to us from this area of Southwest Florida, or if you know someone who lives in this portion of Southwest Florida. It's imperative that they understand that the surge risk has increased as the track has shifted a little bit to the south. So it's really, really important that people pay attention to any evacuation orders. And we're also starting to run out of time too. So if you're ordered to go, you really got to start doing so, because one of the aspects of this storm that's probably going to catch people a little off guard is the rain shield is going to swing out in front of it. It's been raining heavily here in South Florida all night, so the rain shield shifts out in front of it and produces significant flood risk in advance of the actual storm arrival. So don't pay attention to the exact center, where the exact center is tracked. This rain shield will sweep out ahead of it. You can see these are rainfall estimates that would go with this particular track, and you can see some values here in the 10 to 15 inch range. Now, to help you put that into context, a typical summertime thunderstorm here in Florida would put down about 1 inch. So multiply that by 10 or 15 to give you a perspective of just how heavy it could rain in some of these bands as they sweep out in front of the actual arrival of Ian. So that's why we're starting to run out of time. It's really critical that if you're in the path of this storm, especially if you're in an evacuation area, that you go ahead and heed the local orders soon, today. Now, we'll be back at 11:30 with a fuller update, including the evolving risk for portions up the coast, the southeast portions of the United States, including Georgia. I know a lot of you have been asking about Georgia. We'll get to that in the fuller update at 11:30. That's it from the National Hurricane Center. We'll see you in a couple hours. All right, that should move some.